this is Irontrader. It is Sunday night. So I'm going to take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, and silver, and crude oil, and natural gas. I'm going to take a look here at the old NQ, which is ripping up of, over 300 right now. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy something. It's not about ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin daily and weekly chart. Now, before we get started, I want to give a shout out to my new friend, Linda, who's a realtor. And I just want to say, give her a big shout out. She's just an awesome, awesome realtor. Okay, here we are, Bitcoin. Okay, here we go. Now, here we have the daily chart. I can see here how we had this big ass red candle, but where'd it go? Right down into the 100 SMA here, okay? Now, that was because they're going to put out tariffs on China, and it's like the one big selling, it's just like a big liquidation. Now, again, I always say, look for buying opportunities. So if you look at this chart, see, we have a low, we have a higher low, and now we have a higher low. Okay, so it could come out even lower, and as long as we have that higher low situation, we don't lose that 108.55 level here, we're looking here pretty good. Okay, so let's take a look here, right on here on this 50 SMA. So now you can see where it popped up. So what we're watching on the downside is we're watching right there is that 15,713 level. That's going to be very, very key support. Now, if you lose that, we'll come down to today's low at 115.290. Then we'll come down to the bottom of this candle, 114.570 level. Then we'll come down to the bottom there at 113.460, which lines up very, very nicely here at this 113.320 level, your 100-day. Now, upside, obviously, we want to take a look at that. Today's upside is 116.395. That's today's high so far. And then next level is going to be 117.084 level. That's going to be your 21 SMA. Now, if we get above that level, then we're going to be shooting right here at the top of this candle, the 117.795. We'll come on top of that candle, 118.295. And then we'll work yourself all the way up here. You got 119.145 level. We'll come over here to the bottom of that candle at 123.70. And then we'll be looking for this 8-day simple moving average. That's your 8-day simple moving average. That's going to be very, very strong resistance. If you can get above the 21 SMA, that is going to be your next big target. Obviously, if you can get above that, we just follow the candles up, 123.270. 124.465 will come up top of there, 124.940, and then we have 126.295, and your retest 127.240. Now we had this big ass red candle all the way down here. Okay, you see that? Okay, very, very. Now again, remember, one day does not make a market. Okay, so what we had is we had a topping tail here, topping tail there, small topping tail here. It was a green candle, but then you notice that it just went like a sideways action. They couldn't hold that 8. Once you lose that 8-day, actually this was a really good short. Okay, so I shorted it with BITI. It was a really, really good short, and now I'm out of the short, and I'm looking here to take me another long on the BITX here, okay? So what we have here, you got 47. That's got plenty of room to run. That's overbought or sold. The green is over your red, but we have that big red candle that we're going to be trading against, so you got to be a little bit cautious on that. Now, we look at a weekly chart. Okay, we have a low, higher low, higher low. We come all the way down to the 50-day and still got a higher low situation. All right, so right now, okay, as long as we hold that 8-day, that's going to be key, 147, 114.538. And then we have 113.088 level. That's what you're going to be looking at here. Now, if that 8-day crosses over, that's going to take that price all the way on down, and we could lose this support level, and we come down to that 50-day here. But let's just see how this all shakes out. I mean, the market's been open, what, 6 minutes? Okay, so we got to give it a little bit of time, kind of a situation. But right now, we're kind of hanging right around that 50 SMA here. So that's what we're going to be watching. We get above it, your next target is going to be right there, 117.80. And then we get above that, your next big target is going to be that 121 level. Downside, you've got to hold this 100 SMA. That's going to be very, very key on a closing basis, 113.319. Now, we lose that. We're going to come down to the bottom here. This candle here, you're looking at 111.970. We'll come down here, 111.550. And then we have 111.60 level. We'll come down to the bottom of this candle here, 109.270. And then your next support is going to be this 108.555 right there. And then this is what we're really watching is this 107.790 level. That's going to be very, very key on a closing basis. We just don't want to lose that price channel right there, okay? So let's just see how this all going to shake out. But just always remember, one day does not make a market. We had a big red candle, big deal. Let's see what shakes out. Maybe we take a night for a ride back up, hit that 21-day, maybe that 8-day. All right, let's take a look here at gold and silver. All right, here we have gold and silver. I always look at these as a, kind of like a hedge. You kind of, I'm saying this oh, bad times are coming in. It's like a fear factor kind of situation on gold and silver. Now you can see how nice it's holding this 8-day. Okay, so that tells me you got to be long until you lose that 8-day. Now, so what we're watching here is we're going to be watching on the downside is 339.87. Then we'll come down here to Friday's low, 39.61 level. Okay, then we'll come always to the top of that candle. That's that 39.22 level. Then we'll come down to the bottom there at that 39.09. And then we'll come down to the bottom of that candle at 38.61. Then we'll be looking right here, 38.57. That's your catch-all, your 21 SMA. But right now, we just have this sideways action, consolidation. Today, we made this high, made a higher high today at that 48 level. And then we can rise up to there at 47.7. And then we have that big 40.81 level. Okay, now we crack that. You can go at 100 level. Then you can just take it up to 4,120 if you over kind of a shoot the situation. Now, easy way I trade this is with GLD. I only trade on the long side. I don't do the shorty on the gold. So I just take the GLD. And then say if we crack over this 40.81, I'll be jumping into that GLD. And we'll take this bad boy higher. Now you can see here we got right through overbought, got way above 80. Now we're still sitting above the 70 mark, so we're still overbought situation. But again, I always look at this as the fear factor. What's going on in the market is the unknown. You got to figure the government shutdown kind of a situation, tariff situation. So that's why people are jumping into the old gold situation. But eventually this calms down, and then she's going to start retesting all these levels here. But right now we got it uptrending, so stay with the trade. Okay, silver. Well, Friday we put what they call an indecision candle. Okay, so indecision, and now today we're moving right back up. So a key is 47.81. You got to hold that. We lose that, come down right to the bottom of there at 46.89. Then to the bottom there at 46.70 level. Then we'll come to the bottom there 45.96, and then we're going to be looking here for this 45.80. This is going to be very, very key as your 21-day. Now, on the upside, what we do, look at today's high, looking at 48.07 level. Then we just march it right on up here, 48.61. And then we come up top of there at 49.19 and then 49.96. So when we're way down here, I'm looking for that 50 mark, and we came pretty damn close. Over here, I was looking for 4,020, and we overshot that. So let's see if we can take it up to the next level. Now, a lot of the predictions out there where gold's going to go to 5,000, very, very possible it can. So let's just trade it, okay? So don't listen to all that nonsense. Trade the charts. We crack above that 4081, I jump right into that GLD. We crack above this 49.96, I jump into the SLV, and we take it higher. Now, 68, we're sitting there. You can see how strong this is. This measures how the strength, the relative strength. And the green is now a cross below that red because we had this sell-off, we had that topping tail. So you got to be a little bit careful. But as long as we hold that 8-day, we got this action going on here to go higher. All right, let's take a look at crude oil and natural gas. All right, here we have crude oil. Now you can see here how it happened. Here we have a high, lower high, lower high situation. Okay. Now what we had here is we had this double top. See how they have the double top? And when you see this 66.03, we had a higher high, but you notice it couldn't hold it. See that double top? And then look what happens. It's a sell right on down. Now we rallied up. Where do we go? Right into the 21-day. Okay. And then look at this big ass red candle. Now we have what they call an inside day. So far today's high, we got the 59.83. What we're really watching is the bottom of that candle at that 60.40 level, and then we'll be looking right there at that 60.83. Okay, now we get above that, we're going to look to the left of the chart. You got 61.45. That's what we're going to be looking at. And then we can come up here. You got a 62.11 situation. And then we had that 62.51, your 21-day, right above it, 63.12. Right above that, 64.72. Then we'll come top of that candle, 65.40, and then we have 66.39. But right now, we almost got to an oversold condition, but not quite. The green is below your red, so let's see how this is all going to shake out here. Now, again, if we start losing this level right here, okay, so what we want to do is watch today's low, that's 59. What we're always looking for was this 59.74 level, okay? So you can see where you're pretty much sitting right at it. Now, this level here, we came all the way down on Friday. We made this low right there at that 58.22 level, okay? So realistically, what we're watching is right here at that 57.74. Didn't quite make it there, but that's your next support level. Then your next below that is 57.03, and then we come down to 56.39, and then we have a retest there of that 55.30 level, okay? That is your downside action. Realistically, you got to get back above this simple 8 moving average, this blue line right there. See that? You got to get back above that. Then you can retest that 21-day. Then you can retest the 50-day. Then we have the 100 SMA there. then we can do the 200-day. But right now, we're declining, and this is going to provide very, very strong resistance. So if you're trading crude oil, I do UCO for the long, SCO for the short, and you know what I'm saying? It's a really trader's market is what this is, okay? Now, natural gas. Wow, look at natty gas here. Now, okay, we couldn't get through this situation here, okay? So we got a little bit above that 200-day, couldn't really hold it, and then we just sold right on off here. Now, today we put in just a little bit lower low. We have an indecision candle, but what you're watching on the downside is very easy. It's right there. It's that 50-day, 302, okay? We lose that. You're going to go right here to this gap fill at 296, okay? See, there's your gap. There's your fill, okay, right there at that 296 if you lose that 50-day. We lose that then. We come to the bottom there, 284, 281, and then we have that 277, which we had that nice double bottom. That told us we had to get long, and look at a nice market is. But look at that topping tail. Okay, that's never good when you see that. And then we see this red candle that engulfed the previous days. That tells me this is going lower. Okay, so natural gas, this time of the year, I don't really like shorting it, but the KLD, it was so tempting I had to do it. Okay, so I had to take the old short ski every day on the KLD. Now, right now, I am neutral, and I'm going to wait and see what's going to happen. Now, upside, got to get back above that 21-day 3.15. Your next target is going to be right there at 3.24, and then right above that is 3.30. Get above that, we come up top of this candle at 3.39, and then we're looking for that 3.48, your 200-day, and then 3.58 retest. Now, remember, the winter's going to start coming in here. It's going to be very, very cold. That's going to take natural gas up, kind of a situation. Now, the EIA report wasn't very, very mild last week, so let's just see what it brings up this week here. But again, just trade this. It's a two-way trade. I do UNG for the long, KLD for the short. So let's just see. We've got a little ping pong action between the 20-day and the 50-day. Let's see if it can break up. Maybe hit that 100-day. Maybe hit that 8-day. Let's just be a little patient. We lose that 50 SMA here. You got a really good shot at retesting that 277 low. All right. Look at here. RSI 47. That's got plenty of room to go on downside. The green crossed you over your red. You can see that. See that momentum to the downside. That's what happens when that crosses over. All right, let's take a look here at the old NQ. All right, here we have the NQ, and all this is just the NASDAQ futures. Okay, that's all it is. Now, look what happened here on Friday. Came all the way down. It blew to the 8-day, blew to the 21-day, but where did it go? Right down to that 50-day. Just like it held it right there. Look how nice that is. See that? Very, very nice. Now, look how she popped up. So, upside, what you're watching is right there. Is that 24,838, and we're on next level, 24,984. Then your retest, 25,394 level. Downside, this 50-day is everything. You have to hold that. If you lose that, we could come down and aim for that 23,294. That is your 100-day, okay? But just remember, you have one red candle. One day does not make, the trading, okay? So always remember that. That's just one day of a big-ass sell-off. But now look at here. Let's just see if that sell-off continues or if we crack above that 21-day, that 8-day, and maybe even the retest. Now, you can see here how we had this negative divergence going here. High, lower high, high, higher high. See? Negative divergence. Okay? So that's always a first red flag. Came right on down, and now she kind of popped up. But let's just see if it can hold that pop-up. Okay? So market's been open 16 minutes. Doesn't mean it can hold it. Okay? So trade that range. Okay, this is a trader's market. Right down here, when he had that big sell-off. See this? This was the buy and hold market. Okay, this is a buy and hold market. This is a trader's market. All right, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here tomorrow morning, and we'll do it all over again. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.